This episode of Hermitcraft will be different, and that is because I have been sick and poorly and under the weather not once, but twice. And sadly, it is going to affect my ability to make videos and do live streams and all of that stuff, and I don't know how long for either. So if Hermitcraft episodes are sporadic and disrupted from now on, please just bear with me. It is difficult for me to do this now. Now, I may not have been recording much on Hermitcraft, but I have been playing, and one of the things that I've been doing is finishing more of the Nether tunnels. There is still a long way to go, but let's talk about what I was up to, the first time that I got sick. But I just had a sore throat and I couldn't record, but I could still play. So I guessed what I would be doing is playing on the server, doing some recording, making some replays, and then talk about it all over the top of that footage when my voice was better. But, then I got hit with something else. So it's actually been a couple of weeks since I did what I'm about to show you, which was working on this path here. You see, it goes around the corner here, and then what we have is just a mess. We've got an old beacon, a destroyed wheat field. This whole area needed renovating. Now, the first thing I decided to do was build the entrance to our storage area. However, this is how it looked the last time you would have seen it. And so with lots of trial and error in World Edit, I realised this thing needed to be way bigger, and now it's like 4 times the size that it was before, and the area out front is now all cleared and ready for us to build on. I've done some landscaping over the side there as well. And so then it was time for some talkie over time lapses. I put the camera account on the server just to show the creation process of creating this path and then putting in all the lush greenery around it. And it turned out really good. I also added this nice little wheat field with a river in it and some custom mini trees, and the whole thing just feels really nice to walk through now, which is of course what I wanted to achieve. Now, an important concept for this season was the idea that all paths connect, and as you can see, our path kind of doesn't hook up with the one over in the Evil Emporium, which connects to the rest of the server. Now, technically, it kind of goes through this building and our villager trading hall, but realistically what we need for a hermit passing through is a very obvious path that, rather than leading just to this staircase, also goes off to the side here. And I thought that this structure looked really odd, being mostly on stilts, which is why I went and moved the terrain over here to kind of cover up the gap, so now there isn't too much of a space for a path. So I got an idea stuck in my head that I would use scaffolding as part of a structure here to hold it up, and maybe that would look interesting. And rather than figure this out in creative mode first, I did it all in survival, and it didn't turn out so great. Yeah, I don't really think this adds much at all. It's certainly an idea for building, but in this context it doesn't really work. However, if you are passing through the area and stumble onto this path, then it all looks good, and as you come around the corner here, you got an amazing view of the Evil Empire, and yes, something new here that we're going to be talking about. All in all, I think it turned out okay, and obviously once this area down here is more developed, it's going to complement what's around it too. Now, in our last Hermitcraft episode, we have our first ever meeting over here in Ijevin's Evil Tower. We set up the diamond spinner over here to make a far more attractive way to acquire your derp coin. And as always, we pulled in lots and lots of profits. And we also hinted at the construction of a new building over here, which I can proudly say is now finished. Now, what you'll probably notice about this building is it has an interesting colour palette introducing this phase of like dark magenta to light pink. And it's on the back of the building as well. It's a really nice addition. And the whole shape of the building is just fantastic. The roofs are really cool. The details here are wonderful. And all in all, it fits very, very well into its surroundings. And now the Evil Empire has a collection of wonderful builds, really unique looking builds. And this whole area is just stunning. But as they say, credit where credit is due, this build was not designed by me at all. It was actually sent to me as a fan build on Twitter, and when I saw it I was like, dude, I want to build that, can you send it to me? If you can, I will put it into the world. So this stunning creation was sent to me by Blaze Time Master over Twitter. Blaze, if you are watching, thank you so much. They actually sent me their entire creative world, and I flew around exploring, and it is just full of amazing and interesting builds everywhere. Clearly Blaze is very talented, and this build is even better here in the creative world because I did not build the interiors. I'm not sure what I want to do with the interiors. I might end up just building this because it is so very, very cool, but it might not be the right sort of layout and space for the project that I had in mind to hook this building up with. So it's yet to be seen if we will build this interior, but dang, doesn't it just look amazing inside of here? And maybe later on in this episode we will get around to my plans for this building, but for now it's time for a commercial break. I am a big movie buff, no doubt about it. There is nothing quite like sitting back, relaxing and enjoying a good story. But did you know the movies available to watch on your streaming platform are often based on what country you connect from? The movies and shows I get here in the UK are different from what someone in another country might have. A VPN, virtual private network, allows you to run your internet connection through a different server location. That means that you can get more out of your streaming services by connecting to a different location. ExpressVPN has servers located in over 90 countries, and if, like me, you reside in the UK, you'll notice that many great movies like the timeless classic The Godfather isn't available on UK Netflix. But with ExpressVPN you can change your location to watch it. ExpressVPN is easy to set up, simple to use, available on many popular devices and platforms like your computer, smartphone or TV. So stop paying full price for your subscriptions and only getting access to a fraction of the content available. Head over to expressvpn.com/Xisuma. Using this link you will get 3 extra months free on a yearly subscription. Head over there now to sign up today. So my friends, this season of Hermitcraft I have been pretty self-sufficient, but I have caved recently. I've been over here at the log shop, or the logs ground walking tank with cannons attached to it. These are just some amazing builds that Doc and Ren have been working on. And the Octagon is officially open for business, and they sell deep slate. So in order to get the build you just saw finished, I caved in and decided to come over here and buy some. As you can see, derp coin accepted. Anyways, if you watched Ren's video, you may have seen someone overpaid for this. That was me. I could have swore that said free premium derp coin per stack. Anyways, while I was under the weather, I got the itch to do something a little bit more technical and decided to build a mob farm to obtain something that no one else is actually selling on the server yet. But before I could do anything, I needed some honey blocks, so I took a trip over to Botham to one of Scar's wagons. Now I only needed a small amount, and I spoke to Scar, and he said that I could pay with some derp coin. I was going to go chuck it over here into one of these chests, but it seems that this thing has restocked itself. And all of these other barrels are filled to the brim with stock as well. So I'm going to leave Scar a little chest down below here. Now tell me if I'm going mad, but when I pick up this paper, does it change size? Like, what is that? Anyway, there are some instructions there, and we will introduce Scar to the wonder of the dirt block. And there was one other place I needed to visit first, which had just the most amazing nether tunnel. This, my friends, is one of Cubfan's crazy projects, and you do indeed have to be a member to visit this place, which I am not, but I spoke to Cub and we will sort something out in the future. The reason that I needed to visit here though is because it has an ice farm and we needed some ice for this project. So what is this farm that we are constructing? Well, it's going to be a squid and glow squid farm constructed deliberately at this point in a desert because a river runs through the middle of it. So you'll see that there is basalt down the bottom there, and that's where the squid can spawn. Then the glow squid will spawn on either side, and it will be powered by axolotls that target these mobs. Now what we're using the ice for here is to create a tank of water, and then up the top we're going to have a water stream that flows over to where the honey blocks are. Now the honey blocks have hoppers below them, which means any items that flow into the side of them get picked up by the hoppers. So once we have this big tank of water, the axolotls will be killing the squids. Their items will simply just float up to the top of the water and get pushed over, which is what the netherrack is doing right now. And so I wanted to construct a roof with tinted glass, but this is when I realised I don't have enough and we need to work on our tinted glass supply. But above here I've also set up an AFK spot up there in the sky. And from up here it's kind of hard to see, but if you put your attention on the torches, notice how there's kind of like a little bit of a perimeter here where we've got torches on the inside but not on the outside. That's because I've gone and lit up all the space where mobs can potentially spawn when we're standing up here in the very middle. And this means that the axolotls and other mobs spawn inside of the farm and not elsewhere. We've actually got a glow squid right now, which was unexpected. I can see another one in there. But here's the really cool thing. I said we were going to farm something no one else is on the server, as far as I'm aware. So we've done the smart thing by building this thing in both the desert and the river biome. That means we get squid and glow squid, but do you know what else spawns in rivers? The drowned mob, and the axolotl attacks the drowned mob. This means that we will get nautilus shells, and what you're looking at here is several hours of AFKing. Oh yeah, we also got rotted flesh, but the nautilus shell is the additional drop that I think is super cool. But look at that, we now got a wicked supply of ink sacs and glow ink sacs. And of no surprise to no one, we're of course going to be selling these 24 for 64 on both the ink sac types. And then for the naughty shells, as I've called them, it's going to be 1 premium derp coin for 3 of these. And I will do some more AFKing over there, but for now I want to focus on another farm that I have running in this area. And it actually relates to this shop over here where we're going to sell all the stuff related to amethyst. And I had this idea that rather than me visiting my farms to stock up, that we could bring stock over to us. And that was very undramatic because I haven't actually built anything of interest down there just yet. But I did want to show you what was below this store and why I built it where I did. As you can see, there's actually a geode directly below it. And also nearby we have our automatic geofarm, which has been pumping out a small amount of these amethyst shards which we need for our tinted glass. So what I've set up down at the bottom here are water streams, so that we can bring the items across to us. However, there is a slight problem with doing this sort of stuff automatically, that sometimes it might send items into unloaded chunks. So all of this is actually chunk aligned. As I understand it, when an item goes into a chunk that isn't loaded, it's sort of held in the first block. So that means when this chunk gets loaded, it's going to be inside of this water and then it will continue moving along. So in theory, we shouldn't lose any items in this transport system. And this thing is quite long. I've gone round a corner and I've been walking down here. What we've got to do at this end is hook up our geode farm. Look, there's the chest with the items in below. So we want to take both of those chests and get them pumping items into this water stream. So it's your basic stuff. We've got the droppers and hoppers hooked up to bring the items down here. We've got a clock to dispense any items that appear in here. And now we've got to move all of these amethyst shards across. And I have tested this water stream. It is good. It doesn't lose any items along the way, which is fantastic. And so down the end here, it's pretty predictable. We pick up the items in the hoppers. They get put into a dropper. And then we've got like a water stream the other side. We've got our redstone here. And up the top here is where I've gotten a little bit lazy. I don't really feel like doing the decorations or anything up here. I've just put in some basic storage so we can collect these items coming through. And I've also dug some little tunnels to connect things together. So I can now wander up into the basement of the Evil Emporium where I've got some chests with items for restocking. And this path just leads over to the diamond spinner. And what would you know, this thing has brought in some more profits. That's quite a few spins that someone's taken on this thing. Okay, that is great to see. I should probably check that we're still all in stock. Yep, lots of the regular derp coins there. And not so many of the premium ones, but I'll probably stock those up in a little while. Anyways, one of the reasons I've shown you all of this is because I might do something similar again, but with this building. So how about in here, we give away some free items. Although maybe I should say to existing customers that have brought a staking pass, because we have something over here that is just always overflowing, and I recently emptied it out, so it should be good at the moment. But yeah, I've got more iron than I can use, and we could, instead of sell this stuff, just give it away. So if I set up a bunch of water streams again, we could simply pump it across and around over to that building. Customers who have a staking pass could then come over here and collect the free iron. However, I don't think I've got the space here to set up like a fancy redstone system where they use their staking pass to get in. So it'll just be an honor system thing. So I've set up the same thing again. I've made it so that the drops after the iron golems die will just flow out of the water and fall all the way down to the bottom there. And then like before, we have the same system of water streams. These are chunk aligned as well for the whole chunks being semi-loaded thing so that we won't lose any items. But when it comes to this bit here, there's no redstone. I didn't really think it through fully last time, and I realised you could just have the water, well, exactly like that. Yeah, the items will go through and then the soul sand will take it all the way to the top. And so when our customers visit this area, they will be greeted by a big wall of chests full of iron for them to take. And I might actually make this thing a bit bigger and rearrange some stuff. There's also decorations to do right. And I've had a rough couple of weeks, so I'm taking things easy on that front. We'll do the decorations later. And so we did a fair bit this episode. Some building and creation of paths. Also, not to mention this entire thing popping out of the ground. And in the nether dimension, I've also been going around tying up all the loose ends. And I don't know what this is for. But one of the other ones I tidied up was the bottom tunnel. And there was a whole bunch of TNT here, so I used TNT for some decoration. And I have a couple more to do, like this takes you over to Doc and Ren's area. And I think there's like 3 or 4 more tunnels, and then this entire thing will be complete. But anyway, that brings us to the end of the episode, so if you've enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like. Thank you as always for your support, and I'll see you soon with another episode of Hermitcraft. Bye bye!